Okay, here's a book review of Spud by John Van Ruit, and I'm going to do it now because I really want to return this to the library. I have no other reason for keeping it other than to show it to you right now. First of all, it says on the back that this is the South African Catcher in the Rye. I believe it says on the back, or it might say somewhere in the middle. Or on one of these, I think it says on the back. I don't really think it's the Catcher in the Rye. I think probably the only similarities they have is they're both sort of coming-of-age stories, but otherwise not really so much. They're just fundamentally different on so many levels. Holden Caulfield is alone in the world, and Spud has become more connected in the world. So this are completely different. It's called Spud because this is the nickname of this boy, because apparently that's what boys call each other when they don't have their balls yet. I didn't know this. And that was part of the, I wasn't sure if the book was just weird or the people were just weird and they're kind of billed as being weird in the book. He goes into how weird his family is, how weird the people around him are, and they are weird. But there are also aspects I wasn't sure if they were supposed to be weird or if they're just culturally different, things that are specifically South African that I'm not aware of. Supposed to take place in the 1990s in South Africa, right after Nelson Mandela has been released, and there's apartheid is coming to an end, and his father is going insane and crazy and like boarding up the house. It'd be interesting to know if people actually did that then. I mean, I don't put it past some people, I really don't. But anyway, that was all interesting. There's also crazy things going on in this boy's life. When I started out, the language seemed a bit too eloquent to me for a prepubescent boy. Eloquence isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it didn't seem credible that he would be writing in this voice. The voice of the book sounded very adult. It sounded more like somebody perhaps looking back in a memoir-like fashion than the boy writing it at the time. It's not that he's not an intelligent boy, it's just that I don't feel that he would write that way. And maybe I'm just not being fair on prepubescent boys, but it's just, it didn't seem like, it seemed more Dickensian or something from Henry Fielding. It wasn't, I mean, it wasn't old-fashioned sounding, but it was, some of the descriptions, even of the most uneloquent things, were quite well written. And I just didn't see a normal boy's diary being particularly like that. But I did like some of the characters. He did have a pretty good feeling of suspense. There's a boy who disappears, and I kept reading to know where he disappeared to, and there were just little episodes like that, like you kept reading to know what would happen next, little pieces of the story. And of books that I've sort of felt obligated to read because I read this for book club, it's not the worst, and I know that's not the best advertisement, but it really isn't. And by the end, I felt that it wasn't a complete waste of my time, which also wasn't the best advertisement, but it's true. It really was something that I felt was well written. I just felt that I couldn't relate to it completely because it's not the type of thing, not the type of experiences that I've ever had. But that's not a comment on the writing, it's a comment on my own personal preferences. So there were things that bothered me, like I didn't like his relationships with the girls, but perhaps that's about as much maturity as we can expect from a boy, and probably quite a lot considering, all things considered. It wasn't too bad. So I think on a whole, I liked it. In our book club, one of the people felt that there wasn't enough reference to the political time period, but I found that credible. I didn't think that a boy of his age would be as interested in the political time period. And that is the buzzer, but I am going to go on for a few more seconds. I didn't think that he would be as interested in the political time period as he would be in the girls. So that made sense to me. I thought that was credible more than the writing style itself. So, in the end, that is my opinion of Spud. Thanks for watching.